Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Creative Birthright live series. What's on my page? I guess Malcolm wanted to continue the tradition of joining the live, so he is here as well, yet again. Not sure how long he's going to stay, but whether you are catching this live, watching this with me right now, or catching the replay, I'm so glad you're here. I'm trying something different this week where I'm streaming on Instagram as well as YouTube and Twitch. So, on multiple places this time. So, regardless of where you're joining from, if this is live or the replay, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And go ahead, get comfy, get settled in, get something to drink. I have my tea here with me. Today I'm drinking vanilla chai, a mix of vanilla chai and black tea with some lavender almond milk creamer. And also wrestling with this cat to continue talking with you all. I guess he's decided this is his cuddle time. But, you know, we will adjust. And before we dive in, I just want to remind us why I started this series. This series is called What's on My Page, and it is a way for me to keep myself accountable first and foremost, and for me to share in community what I'm currently working on, what is currently going on in my creative practice. And I want it to be a communal space for us to all come together and share what we're working on, what struggles we're having throughout our creative practice. I want it to be a space where we can like expand our ideas because creativity, in my opinion, is so much more expansive when it's done in community. And like I said, I started these live streams because I needed accountability. I was starting things and not finishing them and getting stuck in that space where it's like, oh, I'm not sure if this is going to be good. So instead of pushing through that doubt, I would just stop writing. And I don't want to do that anymore, because I've got stories to tell. I've got things I want to finish, projects I want to share. And I need to get over the fear of sharing, the fear of finishing, and be okay with it not being good. Um, And I am a person who always says, like, I don't want to live my life in fear. So every time something comes up and it is a fear for me, I feel the need to push through it and to um, overcome the fear. So that is a big part of why I started this, is to overcome that fear, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of making something bad and let people see it. And like I said in my last live, I'm always quoting Octavia Butler when she said, "You don't start out writing good stuff, you start out writing crap and thinking it's good stuff. And then gradually you get better at it." That might not be an exact quote, but I'm always quoting this and like, trying to live my creative practice through that lens. So now I am trying to kind of like make sure I live that out. So here's what I'm doing. I'm moving forward anyway. Um, Even if what I make isn't perfect, I'm still completing it. I'm moving through things that are messy or rough, and also acknowledging that there is some beauty in that imperfection. There is some beauty in that messiness because that's how our lives are. They're messy, they're unpolished a lot of the times, and they're imperfect. And the things that I create are a reflection of me. So if I'm holding my creative works to like this high bar of perfectionism, then how am I treating myself? Um, And I'm also just kind of always consistently reminding myself that in order to get to the good stuff, I have to go through the bad. So in this series, What's on My Page, I'm working through the bad, getting to the good, and I'm inviting you on this journey with me. So this series is for everyone who's trying to work through issues around like fear of being seen or just wanting to hold themselves accountable to finish what they start. And I hope and my goal is that together we're creating a space where we can show up imperfectly and still be seen, still be held, and still be proud. So, oh my gosh, this cat, like, he gets all up in my face and then, sorry, and then his like little hairs get stuck to my face. And like, if I put him down, he probably, look, he doesn't even want to get down, but he's likely just gonna hop right back up here. Let's see if he does. Okay, he might not. Let's keep our fingers crossed that he finds something else to do because now my face is just filled with a bunch of tiny hairs and everything that I was thinking about talking about in this live stream is like leaving my head because I have this cat hair all on my face and it's distracting me. Um, okay, focus. Anyways, so let's check in. How has your week been? Um, what did making space for creativity look like for you this week? What was your creative practice, your creative flow? And if you're here live or not, drop it in the chat. I love to hear. If you're watching the replay, leave it in the comments and let's share our progress and our process. And let's kind of come together and talk about what's this week in review looks like in terms of our creative practice. So, here's what my week and my creative practice look like this week. I spent a lot of time editing video content, scripting and planning and like thinking through the new direction and the different things I want to do with Creative Birthright. Um, and I want to start doing like shorts. And I've done them before, but up until now, I just clipped segments from my long form videos and turned those into shorts. But I want to shift gears a little bit and make short form content that stands on its own and that tells like a complete thought or an idea or question in just under 90 seconds because I have all these small like ideas about creativity or like I'll come across like some fact. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Sorry, I'm still like picking um, hair off of my face from Malcolm. But anyway, so I'll come across all these like little ideas throughout the week that may not be big enough for a full video. So I want to bring that to you in a short form content. So it's like really quick, easy to digest. You know, we all have varying degrees of attention spans these days. So for those who have shorter attention spans, I will be having more content for you shortly. Um, so I've been spending a lot of time in my creative practice this past week focused on my YouTube channel and everything that I'm building at Creative Birthright. It's exciting, but it's been a lot, especially when I pair it with my writing practice. And honestly, I have been struggling a little bit to balance the two because everything I'm doing on YouTube has taken up a lot of my creative bandwidth. And like when I'm scripting and everything like that, I'm writing and I'm writing things that energize me and I'm really interested in them. I don't know if everyone's interested in all the things I'm interested in. If you are, then hopefully you are subscribed and we can talk through these things together. But yeah, I have spent a lot of my time just focused on my YouTube channel. And in doing that, my writing practice has taken somewhat of a back seat. I really don't like that because I started Creative Birthright as a way for me to document, well, partially, I started it as a way for me to document my journey as a writer. So I decided yesterday, like, okay, this has got to stop. So I made space for my writing practice only. And actually, having this live series helped me because I was like, oh crap, if I don't do what I told them people I was going to do, I'm going to get down here on the live on Sunday and have nothing, like no progress will have been made. So already I'm seeing that like this live series is keeping me accountable and it's doing what I hoped it would do. So I'm grateful for that. So yesterday I carved out time. I went to this cute little like crafting shop that's not too far from my house. It has like a little place, has an area for like seating and like having tea and like working, but like overall it's like a place where you can like do a bunch of DIY projects. You can get anything you want for making crafts. So it's pretty good like creative environment for me to be in and also to work. Um excuse me. And being in that space and like reconnecting and like being very serious and saying no, I'm going to focus on my writing. It reminded me why I started writing in the first place, and it kind of recentered me. Um, and moving forward, I'm still figuring out like what the balance is going to look like because scripting, recording, editing, and then editing the video is really time consuming, but I do really enjoy it. Like, I never thought I would enjoy video editing, but it's a lot of fun. And like I'm teaching myself how to do a bunch of different things. I've switched from using CapCut to now using Adobe Premiere Pro, and I don't think I've even explored a tenth of the potential of Premiere Pro yet, and I'm so excited to like figure out all the different things I can do video editing wise. But while I'm getting consumed into that, my writing is taking a back seat. So I'm still thinking through how to balance that out. um, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And then everything else I have going on in life as well takes up time. Like, if only I had unlimited amounts of time and energy. But yeah, moving forward, I think I'm just going to dedicate a few days throughout the week where I don't do anything. Like, when it comes to my creative practice, all I'm focused on for those days is my writing. And right now, I'm still working on the short story I spoke about last week. The working title right now is Dreaming in Color. And I say working title, but it feels right. I think that's what I'm going to stick with. It's somewhat of a like sci fi or speculative fiction of a world where, and like, so I'm building this world, and in that world, identity, conformity, and expression collide. And at the heart of the story, it's really about exploring the question, what happens when our desire to belong clashes with our need to be fully ourselves? And I think this is something that we all deal with to some extent throughout our lives. And I really want to explore the process of coming back to yourself and reclaiming parts of yourself that you may have repressed or put aside in order to fit in. Um, so, in this story, the main character lives in society where color, both like literal and symbolic color, dictates social standing, and not necessarily dictates, but it like displays and like um, signifies where you stand in society. And it's because everyone more or less looks the same, like phenotypically. So the only way to really designate who is who is based on color. And people are encouraged and expected to fit into neat little boxes. Like, you're basically told, this is who you are. This is who you are. This is like what your life setup needs to look like, and you're expected to stay there. Um, So in this story, I'm going to explore the tension between being accepted and being free, like free to be the fullest version of yourself. And then also finding how or finding what it looks like to be accepted as your full self. Um, and for me, I think this could be something deeply personal because we all experience that tension in our work, our communities, even in our families. Like, I think our family life is where we first start feeling the pressure to fit in, the pressure to fit a certain mold or fit a certain like function. I don't know if anybody else is into like birth order and how that impacts who you are, but I'm the oldest child and I've always been fascinated about birth order. And in researching it, I'm like, okay, a lot of this tracks, like being the eldest daughter. Um, yeah, a lot of it tracks for me. Um, so, anyways, I'm getting a little off topic, but um, that's what I'm going to be exploring in that. And then looking at and in the like creating a different world and like having it be a sci-fi short story or a speculative fiction, I want to remove some of the kind of constraints or systems and structures that exist in our current world, and focus in on a hierarchical system that requires people to fit in order to be accepted, in order to access resources. So like in this world, we're not going to have like people going hungry and things like that, but there will still be disparities in what people can access, but it won't be like where we what we currently experience in this world because um, I want to just kind of play around and see build a world that's kind of based off of ours but slightly different and just see um, how things function and like how this character will be able to go from being a buttoned up repressed version of herself to fully um, accepting her fullest expression of herself. And one of the big, I guess, themes, one of the themes or motifs that I want to incorporate is the number five, because number five is the number of change and freedom. So that's going to be coming up a lot. And I'm still thinking through how to incorporate the number five. But yeah, that's what's currently on my page. I would love to hear what's on your page, what you're currently working on, um, what's happening in your creative practice, and or like what you have been struggling with. I guess that's still what's happening in your creative practice, but please do get in the comments and let me know. Share it in the chat. If you're watching the replay, please do share it in the comments. And this should be interactive. So please do, if you like see someone's comment about something that interests you, like respond, engage. Let's create in community together. Okay. And today I'm starting a new part of this live series that I hope to incorporate into all of my lives. Not I hope, I plan to incorporate into all of my future lives. And at the end of all of my lives, I want to leave you all with a little creative inspiration, something that you can take with you throughout your week and explore and build on and use it as like a springboard to get deeper into your creative practice. So, this week I'm challenging us to reunite with a part of ourselves that we've pushed aside, repressed, forgotten. So, this week we should be focused on reconnecting with parts of ourselves we haven't connected with in a while. So, this might look like a creative interest or hobby you abandoned. It might be a personality trait that someone told you is too much. Um, and it might be a part of your younger self that was never fully seen. And here's what I want you to do. First, reflect. Ask yourself, what part of me have I ignored, silenced, or repressed to fit in or survive or get through a part of my life? And really think back on what parts of yourself you abandon. And usually it's easy to go back to see your childhood self to find these parts because as we get older and mature, that's when we start being the fullest versions of ourselves. And if it's hard for you to remember, you can always ask like an elder or a parent or someone in your family like who you were as a child. I did this recently. I asked my mom and my grandmother like what type of child I was, what my personality was like, and it was interesting to hear their feedback because I was able to like to see myself outside of myself from a different like perspective and vantage point and see like, oh wow, like I was in this way. Because as I've gotten older, I've gotten very like serious about life and a little buttoned up. So getting a glimpse into who like little Brienne was pretty cool. Um, and my granddad, he did a lot of like video recording. He had like one of those old school video recorders. Um, or old school video cameras that I don't think exist anymore. Like they go onto the VHS tape. And I really want to get those and watch those back and see myself and kind of get a broader understanding of who I was as a child. My aunt currently has them and supposed to be digitizing them. So I need to connect with her because I want to watch all the videos. But yeah, so reflect, ask yourself, what part of me have I ignored, repressed, or pushed aside? And the second step is to write a letter to that part of yourself, welcoming it back. Maybe apologize if you need to, and affirm that it has a place in your life now. Affirm that that part of yourself is valid, it's needed, it's welcome, it's beautiful. And just write whatever it is that you need to say to that part of yourself. I'm going to do this too. And then the next step, just spend the week rediscovering that part of yourself. Let it lead, let it play, let that part be the forefront of who you are for the week, and just really explore what it looks like for you to exercise and allow that part of yourself to be a part of who you are now. Because we inevitably have changed from when we set aside that part of ourselves to who we are now. Um, and lastly, create something that represents that part of you, like something to honor that part of you and to mark that I am welcoming this part of myself back. I'm reclaiming this part of myself. I am proud of this part of myself. So it could be a collage, it could be a poem, you could create a playlist. You can make a vision board to this part of yourself. If you're a painter, paint. If you're a singer, sing or make a song. But do something that commemorates and represents that part of you. It can even be a voice memo, whatever feels right. Make that. And I will be doing this too. And next week, I will share what part of myself I reclaimed and what I created to honor that return. And I hope you will return and come back and share what you made because I'm very curious to see. And I'm actually so excited about doing this. Like I had to, like as I was like writing out what I wanted to talk about today, I had to stop myself from just jumping into this exercise, which is another thing. Like I have, I think, a little bit of ADD, and as an adult, I'm trying to figure out how to manage it because I'll start doing one creative thing, I'll have an idea, and then I will then be doing something else, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I need to go back to that first thing and finish that before moving on. So I was like so excited to jump into this that I almost got started prematurely, but I'm going to be starting it this week with you all. And next week, I'll be back to share with you what part of myself I reclaimed and also share with you what I created to honor and affirm that part of myself. So that's really all I had to share with you all today. Thank you so much for being here, listening to me, and joining me on this journey. But before we go, I want to return to the heart of why we're here and reiterate that, like, I didn't start this series because I have it all figured out. I really don't. I'm like building the plane as I'm flying it, and every week I'm learning something new, expanding my practice, and growing as a writer, as a content creator, as a person. And I started this because I didn't want to let my fear stand in my way of doing anything. Like I said before, at a certain part of my life, I decided I will not live with fear. I will face fear head on, and I will move through it. And actually, I have this quote. I'm gonna read it because I have this quote that I have on my like forget what these things are called, but I have like this board here. And this is this quote from Dune about fear, and it says, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass through me. And when it is gone, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain." And I have it here on my desk just to remind myself that I will not fear. Like, I'm not afraid of fear. I will face fear head on. Maybe it's a very nerdy thing for me to have this quote from a sci fi book at my desk, but hey, I did say I was a nerd about creativity, so that's already out there. But yeah, I have that there to remind me. And I'm not going to cower or acquiesce to the fear of being seen, the fear of being messy, or the fear of not being enough. And I know I'm not the only one, so I'm sharing that with you all so that we can do this together. So, this space is an invitation to be a work in progress, to let your art, your voice, your presence be imperfect and still powerful. And I hope over time, this space becomes a community where we can build, where we show up not to be some impressive, polished versions of ourselves, but to simply express, to share our voice, to share the thoughts that we're noodling around in our head that aren't fully complete. So, next week, I'll share what came up for me through the prompt and homework that I shared earlier. And I'll show you what I created. And I hope you will bring yours too. Whether it's finished or just taking shape, at whatever stage it is, please share it. So that's all I have. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for your creativity. And until next time, be gentle with yourself, be bold with your voice, and keep creating. All right. I'll see you in the next video or in the next live. Bye.